Okay, so I'll tell you a story. I was in California, and we would go over to my friend Tracy's house. It was Pat's girlfriend at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so we go over to her house every weekend and just hang out, right? It's a good way to get off base and whatnot and hoo-ha. Real cool people. Probably one of the few people in California that you can go there and they were normal and they like to hang out and they weren't weird. Well, anyway, Katie was a nurse for a long time, and Frank was in the Navy during Vietnam, and then was a plumber, right? Well, anyway, we we came over one weekend like we always do, and Katie like ran up to us at the front door. Was like, "Dave, guys, Frank's freaking out. Frank's the dad, right? Tracy, Frank, and Katie. Anyway, Frank's freaking out." And I was thinking to myself, okay, this dude's like twice the size of me easily, and me and Pat are both about the same size dudes. We're gonna have to coordinate a strategy. Let's figure out what's going on, right? Well, we go back there, and Frank's got all the patio furniture turned to the side, like he just created himself a bunker, and he's got his hat on backwards, and he's sitting there with his 22 lined up like this, and we're like, what the fuck is going on? And Katie's like, Frank's freaking out, and we look down, and there's a rat. At the end of this, they got this like rosemary thing down there, right? Well, there's a rat right there. And Frank's like full on
fucking deer hunter.
yeah, ready to kill this rat, but like in the trenches style. Like he didn't I don't know why he didn't bayonet it. Right? But anyway, so
Fucking Charlie's coming.
So Pat went down there and relieved him of his gun. But instead of like relieving of the gun and say, okay, it's just a rat, don't worry. Well, Pat went and took aim. And I was like, we're in city limits, dude. So I was like, this ain't Texas. Whatever. You know, you do your thing. I don't care. Frank's relieved of the gun. We're okay now, right? Well, Pat takes a shot. Rat disappears. One of those, pew, what happened? The rat's gone. Anyway, fast forward 2 weeks from now. We come over again on the weekend, and Frank's been telling us for a while, we want to get all that rosemary out of that flower deal so we could do something with it. We're like, all right, cool. Well, 2 weeks from that day of the rat, we show up, and we're like, all right, let's do this. Cool. So we go out there, and his tool selection is a little bitty spade shovel, a full-size shovel, and a pitchfork. We're like, all right, we'll make do with what we got. So I jump on the flower bed. The flower bed's raised up probably that high off the ground. The fence is a privacy fence, your normal 6.5 foot fence. Well, there's a tree that hangs over the fence, right? So I'm in the flower bed, just kind of sitting, or I'll stand like this, right? So I'll break the roots and I'll roll it to the side. Pat sticks it with the pitchfork, moves it to the side. Frank's doing his own thing on the other end of the rosemary. Meanwhile, we're all smelling amazing. Right? So, in the midst of all of it, I poke a rosemary and a rat runs out. It's like, Pat, it's a rat! And I throw my shovel at it, and it runs into this like yard drainage tube thing. Well, Pat puts a brick in front of me, goes, can't get out of there now. I was like, okay. I bet he go around, but okay. That's not his only point of entry to the backyard, but he ain't coming in that brick.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we go back in it. So I'm like, oh, goddamn. Getting this rosemary. I don't ever want to see rosemary again in my life. And all of a sudden, another rat. And I'm like, Pat, a rat! And the rat runs out and runs in front of him. Well, the exit hole for this, I guess that's like a community exit hole for this yard. And this rat runs to the brick, and the brick, he's like, he doesn't know where to go. So he turns around. Well, Pat grabs this pitchfork and commences just wailing on the ground. So he's like, wham, wham, with a pitchfork. So the rat's just standing there like, and Pat's like, wham, and I'm like, get it, Pat! And another rat comes out, right? So I'm looking full on like wrong turn hillbilly stuff, right? Because I'm screaming rat. There's a tree hanging below me. I've got this much room to work with underneath the rosemary. So I've got my spade shovel, and I'm like, Pat! That's a rat! And I throw my spade shovel and I go get it. And I'm like, get the rat, Pat! And I'm throwing it, Pat! Spade shovel, throw it. I'm trying to ninja throw the thing, and Pat all the while for a whole 10 minutes probably is wham, 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 and the rat's just right. We're sweating, and I'm screaming rat. Pat's trying to sledgehammer with a pitchfork. The rats are running around everywhere. There's probably 4 of them. Felt like a million. I felt like I was being invaded. Right. But they were avoiding my ninja throws with my shovel. Anyway, the rats all disperse somewhere. Me and Pat standing there out of breath. One rat runs to the end of the rosemary, goes up to the corner of the fence, does this Jackie Chan wall climb parkour shit. Like, I'm not kidding. The rat ran up and went swoosh, backflip to the other side of the wall. And then jumps over, and when it gets to the top of the fence, it turns around and goes. And Frank's standing there like that picture with the old dude and the old lady with the pitchfork, standing there leaning on his shovel like this, and he goes, "There, look, a rat."